Hey everyone, welcome back. I have a few runs to show you today for those who want to try and improve your scores. For those who are looking to learn the boss, I've included the mechanics of the boss as well as recommended gear for your units. I will start off with the mechanics, then gear, and then the two strats. For those who already know the mechanics, I will have everything timestamped in the description so you can skip ahead. So let's get into it. At the start of the fight, boss slowly walks towards your ship, spawning 2 sets of 3 ads each. You have to deal with these ads quickly, keep your team alive. Deal with the ads, you will want to kill them quickly. This season, Gaeun and Wardens is a good option, as well as Sigma and Karin. Sigma and Ludmilla is also an option to deal with them. As you can see here, if the ads don't die quick enough, your Mia will die, and at that point, you just restart. On this fight, you'll want proper frontline spacing. Too far and your DPS will have to run up, and too close and your DPS will get hit. Here's an example if you take too long to deploy your defender. If the air unit is the closest target for it to hit, it'll use its anti-air skill, which will do massive AoE to your entire team. At 70, 50, and 30% HP, the boss will use its great sword and yoink your entire team to the other side of the field. There are a few units that can prevent this, Lucretia being one of them, but she can only protect the front 3 non-mech units. Jushiun and Ella can also do the same thing with their counter, but protect the entire team. Be careful with your Jushiun deploy. If you deploy him on the sword, he'll just die and not protect your team. Boss is special, indicated by the blue bar under his portrait. Once something's in range, he'll do a hard hit in front. Boss's ult, indicated by the purple bar under the portrait, will hit for massive damage to your entire team. You can redirect it, or you'll have to find a way to protect your team from it. Alright, so now here we have the gear units being used. Anti-striker damage and anti-striker res are going to be recommended for the fight. As you can see here for Wardens, I'm using attack speed with anti-striker damage and anti-ground damage. Little res there. Attack speed or attack, blaze, bullet, all those work. For Gaeun, Karin, and Ludmilla, you're going to want to go as much anti-striker damage as possible on them. The air units, or the air ads, are strikers as well as the boss, so it'll work for both. But anti-ground damage doesn't do any extra damage to flying ads. The gear is interchangeable. Attack speed and blaze are probably going to be the best ones to go with. For Mia, you're going to want to stack as much anti-striker damage. Attack anti-striker is probably the best setup, but attack, double bullet, bullet chain, double chain, even blaze anti-striker would probably work. Maybe not for higher percents, but it would definitely get the damage out there. Horizon is best on HP. You're going to want to have anti-striker damage res, so that it'll work on the boss and the flying ads, because they will attack her. As you can see, I don't have that much anti-striker res here, so I opted to try and fit as much melee res as possible. Anti-ground res is going to be just as useful against the boss, but not against the ads. With Horizon's defense, I believe it was 57%. Total res is all you need on her, and then the defense will make up for the rest, so you don't need to cap at 80. 50% anti crit will, or crit damage res will be recommended, but try to fit as much as you can if you can't afford that. Soyun, I opted to go HP. If you can time it well, you could sit there and get away with damage gears. But I went for with this for safety, so just in case she does get hit by the boss's special, then she won't immediately die, and still be able to get her special off. Lonely is definitely recommended for this fight. Probably MVP of this fight and is a needed unit. I went with attack speed so that she comes out faster and uses her skill quicker. Attack speed tank as much as much ground rest as possible, just so that she can live longer. If you don't have lonely, this fight's gonna definitely be a lot harder, as her death break does 40%. Can't really think of any other replacements for her. Grisha, possibly. You just won't kill as fast, or won't burst as hard. Eddie Fisher could just go on HP. He actually doesn't need much gear, and I didn't use gear for him in any of the runs. For Sigma, if you end up having to use Sigma with Karin and Ludmilla, as much skill haste as possible, 76 is definitely helpful, but not needed. You can get away without having to have 76 and run 72. For both of these strats, I'm using Enterprise. My sockets are rather decent for counters. I have range damage increase with attack increase. And then for socket 2, I don't really have much of anything at all. They're not very good, but you take what the RNG gives you. Rearmed Enterprise isn't necessary, but it is helpful. It does a little bit more damage on the skills, and then you get the little bonuses from the sockets. So right off the bat, you're going to want to deploy Mia and Wardens. You're going to hold off on Gaeun's deploy until the ads get closer. That way, when she uses her special, she immediately backsteps, and that keeps her in the range so that she doesn't take the minus 60% melee penalty, and that way the ads die a lot quicker. You'll want to sit here and deploy Horizon just close enough that the boss uses its skill but doesn't hit Gaeun, and that way you'll be able to keep Gaeun alive. Now, if you don't have Horizon, Alex can be used, but she gets a lot more difficult to use on the higher percentages. The only way I was able to find to keep her alive was to use Sigma and Detroit. Mainly Detroit was the thing, and some specific gear. But if you end up doing that, you lose Enterprise's evasion shred, which makes the entire fight more RNG. And then you'll end up having to sit here and not only do hit RNG, but then crit RNG on Mia's ult for burst. Now, at about 1800, or 1.8k elimination score is about when I use ship skill 1. And as you can see, the sword is about to spawn. Best way to sit there and deal with that is to sit there and use iframes on Gaeun and Mia's ulti to dodge the sword, and then right after that you'll use your Enterprise skill 2 and deploy Lonely and Soyun as soon as possible, and then spam Eddie here to try and get that buff. And then with good RNG, you'll sit there and crit the boss. As you can see, this run kind of fell flat at the very end, but I went ahead and let it kill it. And that's it. This was done on 71%. A little bit of better score, and I could have gotten a 20k. So here's a Sigma Karin strat. This one you definitely need Mia to tank in front so that the ads don't get close to Karin and she can continue doing range damage. The shield will sit there and protect Mia to an extent, but you want to get Horizon out as soon as possible. Since we're not going to sit there and burst through the sword here, we're going to have to about at 1.8k elimination score to 1.9k. We're going to want to sit here and deploy Lucretia, use Sigma's ulti to iframe the sword, and use ship skill 1. Ship skill 1 lasts 16 seconds, so you can use it rather early for the burst phase. And that'll protect your team here. Then it's deployed Lonely, use Mia ulti, and Enterprise deploy Seiyun as soon as possible. You never use Aegea on the strategy, she's just on the team because it's a 7-man team. Alright, I hope this guide helps everyone improve their scores. So far it's been an interesting season, and Mia Up definitely made things fun. Feel free to drop by the Snekcord. I'll have a link in the description. We have people streaming on and off as well as discussing various topics, so come chill with us. Let me know what kind of scores you guys get in the comments, and also let me know if there's any other content you might want to see other than Danger Clothes. Besides that, everyone take it easy, and I'll see you next time.